Oh, nice music.
The sky, the sky, the sky is falling. The sky, the sky is falling. The sky is falling.
The music in the background is a friend of mine. It's about chemtrails, if you don't know what he's singing about. He's playing the steel guitar. So it was created a long time ago, but he lets me do what I want with the song, so I play it because I just got a lot of information to bring out about chemtrails before we get started on UFOs. Just listen to it for a second, just to bring you into the mode of where we want to be. Well, I want to just bring up some information that I've been dealing with over the past couple of days about chemtrails before we go into UFOs and aliens. The fact are, they still are spraying. They haven't stopped. They haven't depleted. I mean, they're spraying around the world. Information that's not public, and you're not going to find it very much anywhere, no matter how you look for it. But if you try hard enough, it's there. Russia shot down 3 chemtrail planes already. They want global warming. Putin actually said it. He wants to have warm weather all the time so he can grow vegetables and fruits and everything else all year round. That's his idea of global warming. But in the interim, what are they really doing? Now, I'm dealing information from the person that was actually flying these planes. He put his life at risk to bring this information out. Now, the problem is most of the people that do that do not have families, because basically if you're spraying chemicals over your planet, your land, your people, you would realize what's happening to them. And these people don't have families, so they're not really caring about what happens to children or anybody else while they spread these horrible chemicals. They're adding a few more chemicals to the already toxins, metals, and chemicals that are in them. But something that's going to even be worse in the near future, very soon, they're going to be invisible. So the whole concept of chemtrails will slowly disappear because people will not believe that they're there or even see them. So they won't know that they're there. They got major ideas what they're doing. In the United States, they're trying to create a drought over California and Texas, which they have shown they can do. So on top of that, we have people saying they're not real. People in government don't talk about them, don't mention them. So I'm putting that information out there for you to get involved, to look at, find out about it. Just know that it's real. In Hawaii, they spray almost every other day. And it's pretty dramatic, the effects that it has on the people here. Hawaii has the highest number of drug addicts, the highest number of homeless people in the United States. Plus, we have serious viruses and everything else here. We have a lot of problems. Are they all based on one thing? No. But I can tell you, we have the government army base here, which is the first center of defense for the United States. So, and they're testing bombs on the mountain. We got boxes put in the ocean to put out sound waves for the HARP system. So you want information, I promise we'll bring it out as long as we can, as much as we can. Truth only is the way I deal with things. I try not to promote anybody's stories or lies. Tina is a friend of mine who I trust and believe totally, and that's why she's here. So I'm going to give it over to her.
Hi everybody, I'm Tina Brad here in the UK in Southampton in England. I've known Tommy for a little while now, and we do have our differences and opinions, and which is what I like about Tommy. He has a lot of historical fact and knows a lot of people, and I just like to tell it how it is on my side of the story and how I perceive things and the things that have happened to me. So, hello and welcome to tonight's show here with Encounters and Tommy's show tonight. And if you'd like to ask questions, Tommy has put a link up, I believe, and you can see his email, and you can private message us as well. So I've just put my phone on, and you can also message us on live comments as well if you'd like to do that and ask us any questions, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show this evening or another show, then please contact us. And yeah, so tonight we'll get underway. I'll blast a few things at Tommy. He's right. The planet is in disarray. You've got viruses, you've got war. It's apocalyptic times, if you like. It is definitely like the story from the end of days as well in biblical times, if you're so inclined. The world has gone to pot, and man is to blame for a lot of it. I do admit, I think the Earth has its own little cycle, and there's other things at play. But yeah, a lot of things we need to deal with and don't. A lot of things we need to deal with and still don't. And the world is in disarray because we don't communicate or agree or get on with each other. It's the haves and haves not. So here in the UK, we have alien abduction still. We have coronavirus now, and yeah, we've been having storms, severe storms, one storm after another. So we're having a pretty hard time of it here in the UK. So if you believe in phenomenon and entities and just UFOs and basic, you have to ask the question to yourself. We can't be indigenous to this world. There has got to be other life out there, and there is other life out there. It's what they're doing for us. We're in search of it all the time. So if they actually come out and say, yes, we found it, it's this, how they're going to break it to us? Are they going to break it to us? They've known about aliens for many, many years, if not hundreds of years, visiting here in different species. That's fair enough. I can understand why they don't tell us to a certain degree. But then what I don't agree with is alien abduction, where they allow other species from different planets or different times or any, people from different galaxies to come here and test humans, take humans, use our cattle as experiments, use human beings experiment, and give nothing back in return. If they're cloning us, then we're not being paid for those clones. We don't know what they're doing with our clones or where they're taking us. I don't think that's for the betterment of man. I think that's to enhance their species or be a subsidiary of that species or a way of controlling us further. Our government has known, or we're in some kind of exchange program about this, and the government does nothing to help us or cure us. I mean, if the different types, whatever species you're talking about, takes people, which they do, why aren't they helping us more? Why aren't they curing cancer? Why aren't they curing brain tumors? Why aren't they curing sickness and helping us develop our planet instead of kill it? So I'll chuck that back to you, Tommy, and you want to answer any of them? I'll leave it up to you.
All right, I want to start with the idea of abduction. It's mean taken without your permission. Now, science in the United States, they do research on drugs, medicine, things. I mean, yeah, they use monkeys, they use mice, but they get volunteers. They ask people to volunteer for testing. Now, it's free will of a person to say, yes, I want to do that. The Montauk Project evolved around taking children and doing experiments on them without permission, without an acceptance, without an agreement. So we started a long time ago about using and abusing people. But alien races are doing the same thing. And when our government agrees with them that they can do what they want, what they need to do, as long as they give us something back, which is basically everything on this planet, give me money, you can do whatever you want. Want to destroy it, just give me enough money to make me happy. Well, someday it's all going to backfire on everybody that took money, thinks money is going to help them or save them. And chemtrails is one of the starting things, but that links up to the HAARP system, HAARP, check it out. You need to understand what that is and how it works with chemtrails as well. But I don't want to stay with that. I want to try to get into a little more aspect of aliens and not the fact that UFOs are here. I mean, if you want my book, How to See a UFO, it's a manual. I will send it to you. Just email me, hawksblood1aol.com. It's down there on the line down there. I will give it to you. If you like it, you can send me $1 saying you liked it. But it'll tell you and give you all the things you need to do to see a UFO in a very short period of time. If you never saw one, if you saw multiple ships, I guess you don't need to see more unless you have this desire to see more. And then again, do you want to really get involved with that whole world, which is a separate world from our reality? Because it pulls you into the people that don't believe in and call you crazy and think you're crazy and everything else. But now what I want to get into today is all the UFO people out there speaking about aliens and what they do, what's happening, what our government's doing, all the whistleblowers coming out, telling their stories, what they did here on other planets with aliens and what's going on. The importance behind any of it, what's really happening. And here's the question I'm asking you to ask yourself. What do you think aliens can do for us? If you're in the chat room, please type in a statement if you can. Text me. I'll take this back next time we do the show. I'll answer any questions if you put them out there. Why do you think aliens really are coming here? All right. Why do you think they have been here? Why do you think the world is the way it is while aliens are here? Think about these questions because it all fits together and it would help you understand, why are aliens really here? What do they need from us? What are they willing to do for us? What are they willing to give us? Now, there's many real alien races, but I'll say this, and this is my viewpoint, but I don't think you can debate it. The most powerful race has the most control. When I mean powerful, the most powerful weapons. All right. In a war, if a people go out there with a pea shooter and the other people have machine guns, who's going to win the battle? If you go out there with shotguns and they got radar, laser beams and stuff like that, who do you think is going to win? So technology, excuse me.
Bless you.
All right. You know, there's a saying.
Keep your coronavirus over your side, eh?
Right. You know, there's a saying, when you sneeze, you're releasing this evil spirit. But again, so here's the thing. What do you think they're here for? What are they going to be doing for us? Okay, let's take that into your mind. What do you think they can help us with? What do you feel they will help us with? Now, if a race, there's different ideas, different viewpoints, and from multiple UFO people say they can break time, they do time travel, they bend the time and go from one point to the other. They're here. They live inside the Earth. They live in our galaxy. There's multiple theories and ideas. You can pick any one of them you want. If they're high tech, which they are, if they're more advanced, which they are, what do they need planet Earth for? Now, we talk about food a lot. That's one reason. But let's get into the aspect of technology. If you created us a city, the people believe the Anunnaki created us. Why did they create us, and what are we really being used for? The story goes into mining gold, but that's old ancient story, which is a lie. But in the interim, what would they do with us? All right, now if they're coming from another universe, another galaxy, and they're spending time, I mean, they're traveling faster than the speed of light, so it's not the time frame that we can understand. And they get here. It's not like they're traveling for 10 years on a ship and they got to eat and stay in a suspended animation until they reach our atmosphere and come to our planet. But they can get here in a short period of time. Why would they come here? What would they offer us? What could we offer them? Now, the other thing is, if they're in our atmosphere or our dimensional reality, our universe and our galaxy, what do they need from us if they come here? If they're inside the Earth, what would they need the outside of the Earth for? And I'll tell you, Drumbelow Melchizedek claimed he works with the alien races inside the Earth. He said he was going to bring them out publicly to the world. And that was years ago. And that has never happened. I mean, people tell stories and they give dates. And I could tell you a list of names of people in the UFO world that said something that definitely didn't happen. The Galactic Confederation says things every year. They come out with a statement, and everything that doesn't happen, they say happens in a different dimension. So basically, I'm saying what is going to happen in our reality, in our dimension, that's going to be beneficial to the human race. I'm going to give it back to Tina to follow through from that, and then we'll stay with that for a little while, because I think it's very important to get an understanding of this whole idea, why they're here.
Okay, Tommy, just check out your live comments as well. Oh, what's happened there? 1 second.
Did any
Right.
come up?
Yeah, you've got someone saying most censored. YT most censored. Hi guys. Hello. Yeah, to top that off, Tommy, I've got a few things. You bring up some valid points, and I've got a question. If these entities are, depending on which ones you look at it, are that technologically, because you spoke about technology, if they're that technologically advanced, more than humans, one, what would they need a dumber species for? You wouldn't. Two, why would they need our flesh or our human biology? If they're higher intelligence and capabilities, hi.
Hey guys, I just got the link.
Hello.
Okay.
So if they are higher intelligence and they're more intelligent, why would they need human biology? Surely, if they can manufacture, put their souls or blend us with them, have the ability as we do, like IVF or cloning, they obviously have a more advanced addition and better known chemistry, understanding of chemistry. What would they need human beings for? Just the genetic material? Surely they would. Oh, I like that. So why would they need human beings if they could create spaceships and bubbles to put us in and we can travel within an instant like they do? Why would they need human beings who we must seem like prehistoric creatures to them? What would they need our genealogy and biology for? I mean, the only thing we could give them is biology, parts of our anatomy. We could use us as food, grow their own food. But they're blending. It's my experience that they've been taking us and blending us for biology, for biological purposes, for DNA. So they either can't extract or can't make their own DNA. Either way, so we must be, my determination and from my experiences, they use us as a natural DNA resource, as we would go to the mountains and fill up a water bottle, say, hey, we've got mountain water, kind of thing. What could they give us in exchange? Well, apart from technology, is it we're having this much trouble now with the government disclosing things? What's the point of us going further into space if the government aren't telling us now? The other thing I want to bring up is nowadays they are confirming they've got alien signals and planets and Betelgeuse. Is it stop dimming or stop it expanding or whatever it's doing? It stop whatever it's doing. So they are making scientific discoveries without the help of alien technology. We have our own technology, but human beings don't seem to use it to our advantage or our benefit. If they're taking alien technology and adapted it, human beings to aliens are much more advanced. If the alien beings are genetically enhancing us, why aren't the human beings genetically evolving us as well? So I'll leave that back to either of you guys. Hello, Sasha.
Hi, Sasha. You say hello. If you
Hey guys.
want to say something, you know where we're at right now, hopefully.
Yeah.
We're talking about why aliens are here and what can they do for us.
I mean, I personally can't say anything in terms of experience. I haven't had that. But from what I've heard, it's pretty much an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Well, appreciate that. That's a good phrase. That's what I would use as well. All right. Now, I want to take this into different levels. We have a bunch of races coming here. None of them are doing the same thing. The Greys are basically what Tina works with. And there's just 6 different kind of Greys. So even that, you can't say, well, one Grey does this and one Grey does that. They do have different levels of what they want to do and have to do. But I look at it in a different way than a lot of people. They're armies. People that come here are an army sent out from a planet. They're not the overall view of the general race of the planet. Like when we send people up into space, they're programmed in what they do and what they know. And everything aspect that they're into is what they are programmed to experience and deal with. So when a race comes here, whether it's a gray, reptilian, Nordic, tall white, they have an agenda. The word agenda is critical to mankind because man has its own agenda. Races have their own agenda. Religions have their own agenda. Agenda separates everything from everything. So, I mean, if the world and the universe all had the same agenda, we would be living in a totally different place, but we're not. So when a race comes here, like the Greys, and they're dying out, they have been dying out, and they need to survive, and they found a way to help them survive. And Tina's one of those people that are going to help them. So we have reasons why they do things. Do they just feel like abducting people? No. There's a reason behind every action. Whether you can perceive it, understand it, it doesn't matter. They have a reason. When a person goes out and kills somebody, there's a reason why they do it. And all you hear on the radio and TV, well, we got to find out the reasoning why. You think a person that was abused is going to say, well, I was abused and this happened to me and this is why I had to kill them. You know, the scenario behind why doesn't answer. Everybody's not going to get that answer, or especially the answer that they want. So when we talk about the reptilians, who have probably one of the most advanced weapons for this world and our dimension, when you go into battle, do we know what kind of weapons we can fight them with? Who gave us technology? I mean, who discovered that a ruby rod could produce a laser beam so powerful and dangerous? All right. And that's the foundation of a laser. So technology gets developed by one little thing, whether it's an artifact, a piece of metal, piece of glass, crystal, or a meteorite. Suddenly it changes reality in how we use it. So whether alien races gave it to us to use or not is a different story. I mean, we can go into the gold aspect, but then go into the diamond aspect. Who created diamonds? Why were they created? And why did they grow? And all those kind of things. So there's a lot of technology behind the reasoning for the weapons that we use. But we don't understand reptilians at any level. So what they eat, what they like to do, they do have sex. So even that alone makes them a terrorist group of people coming to this planet.
Yeah.
Or I deal with the good ones. And what did the good ones do? Well, I had sex with them, or they took me out for dinner. I mean, what stories do you want to come up with that make it real? That it's really important for them to come through the universe, to come here to have dinner with you, or even to sit down and talk about how your life's going.
And they never give me dinner.
All right, I'll give it back to you, Tina.
No. I mean, Sasha, from your experience, from you looking at our experience, we must sound absolutely off our nut. But it's not these things, just like goats, human beings, cows, and spaceships and cars, they are here. They are doing these things and nobody's being held accountable. Now, one, what is your perception of that? What do you think of abductees or contactees? I prefer the word abductee because, you know, that's me. Go for it. I've lost your sound. I can't hear you. There you go.
No, okay.
You're gone again.
Yeah, first thing I want to say is I do not find you guys outrageous or ridiculous. Maybe it's just me. Second of all, as far as my experience with UFOs, it's kind of interesting because as soon as I learned about Tommy and the Sargel, learning, from their teachings, I started seeing a lot more orbs, which I found interesting as well. And I don't know, in terms of the community, that's like I mentioned before. I don't know. That's a tough one to explain.
All right.
Go on, Tommy. Right.
Here's the thing. When people talk about experiences, You have to have the experience, or there's very little you can talk about it. You could read other people's stories and absorb that and talk about that in their viewpoint of what their experiences was. But it truly doesn't help somebody else understand it. That's why I put this book out, How to See a UFO. Until you see a UFO, does it really matter whether they're or not? And then when you see a UFO, does that change anything? All right. Getting abducted, being really close to the ship and things changes your reality completely. And you're not going to go back to the old way of thinking. For me, I couldn't change my reality. I can't change the way I think. I was next to an alien. I was next to a Bigfoot. I was really close to a ship. All those things change your reality because you can't take it back. No, I wasn't on drugs. I had witnesses a couple times. So all these little things make it real. And when that scenario gets real within your consciousness and your awareness, it's you don't care what people say about you because everybody's experience. I mean, if somebody said they experience God, it's going to be their experience. Here's the only thing. If you're going to try to tell people to do something or be something, give them a truth that can help them become that. I mean, if you're going to say, well, aliens are here to help us what? Are they going to teach you how to cook meals, how to cook humans, make them better tasting when they cook them? What scenario do you perceive even? So when a person comes out, well, I was on a ship, and I found this out talking to one person that I kind of got closer to. He came to Hawaii, who deals with the tall whites. And the first thing I asked him, what's their favorite food? And he had an answer. He said they love strawberries. Because he said strawberries do not grow anywhere else. And there's a certain thing in strawberries that gives them some kind of vitamin, whatever it is.
See, this is it. If they're that intelligent to come here, Tommy, why can't they manufacture or synthesize strawberries on their planet?
See, we assume a lot of things. Spiritualism doesn't happen anywhere else except here. Now, when we talk about food, corn was brought here from another planet. It wasn't created here. All right. It's one of the oldest foods that were brought here. It wasn't actually came out of the ground for some unknown reason. So, and it's the most toxic food on this planet, whether people realize it or not. And when Monsanto touched it, it became the most deadliest plant on the planet. All right. It's the most toxic. It's used for everything under the sun, and it's dangerous. So when we talk about what aliens would like and why they can't do this, why they can't, aliens aren't God. They're not super beings, not super spiritual. If you like eating people, do you care about carrots and string beans, cats, eating cats, or eating anything else? You like the native people. All native tribes ate what was around them. If they lived in Florida, they ate alligators. Where they lived is what they ate. So it's not like you're going to go around the world to eat a snail or to eat a kangaroo or something else. So why would aliens come here to look for a different kind of food? Maybe they do.
Yeah, you just gave me a good idea there. If I ever encounter an alien, always be in stock with strawberries, so I can just give them that instead of them eating me.
Well, that's only one race. No, the tall whites don't eat humans, but you can't even touch a tall white; they will kill you. But not intentionally. So when we talk about races, what their agenda is, and it's food is part of every entity, every creature that has a physical body is part of their reality. Everything has to eat. So if you're traveling through space for say you did travel through space for 20 years, and you come to a place, you're going to want to replenish the food you have on your ship. And if they were used to eating kangaroos or whatever kind of creature they had on their planet and they come here, they got to find a new source to eat. So food is a critical thing among all races that come here.
That's one thing I noticed when they took me, and you can't think, so a lot of people don't remember. But the times that I could remember, I really remember clearly. And one of because people say, why didn't you ask questions? You don't think to ask questions unless they allow you to. So you're frozen, you're looking at the front of your eyes and nothing works. You can't wave your hands, you can't blink your eyes, you're just staring forward all the time. And it's on mini record, so you can either just look at what's going on, you can't ask or you can't sort it out. It's just like your brain is on record and that's it. You've got no other senses, no taste, smell, nothing. But when they get me, when I was allowed to stand up, I was functioning, but I remember them like a bitter taste in my mouth, like they jogged me with something. But when they asked me to stay with them, I could see like these black panels, and they were touching these black panels. I was just stood next to these panels, and they gave me the option. They said, because you can understand us, do you want to stay with us? But that would mean I would never go back to my family. I'd never come back to Earth. I don't know what the purpose is for that. And the first thing that crossed my mind is food. Like, I've never seen them eat. There's nothing up here for me to eat. I've seen hundreds of humans, but they're all been like awake but asleep. And I've never seen nobody or nothing eat the whole time I was up there. So in every experience, I've never seen or had a thought of any of them asking or wanting or needing food or how they eat. But another thing springs to mind. When I was on that big table, that big white, huge like snake thing, like the snake octopus thing, this thing came over me, and I thought it was going to eat me. I thought I was going to die. I for a second I felt hot. I just thought, this is it. I'm going to die. Now, just bear with me my thinking on this. If that was like the lead insect, if you like, on that ship, or a queen, like we have at the zoo where we have ants. So we have one queen, one major queen, an ant. She makes all the ants. She breeds them all. They're all connected to her by pheromones. She feeds them all. So the food they bring back, the pheromones, the second she dies, they all like dissipate, run everywhere, and they die because she's no longer releasing the pheromones they need to eat to survive. Now, is it like that, do you think, on all of these bigger ships? Because the little jelly babies, little white ones people call greys, the little white ones, they're glowing white, were terrified of this huge thing. Is it because it fed them or gave off pheromones? Because they subdue human beings by pheromones and light. So is that a way of, they release pheromones as food? Is that how they absorb it? Because their mouths, if you saw their mouth, it's like a tiny, size of my upper lip, very tiny, and doesn't move. It's like, is it prestigious?
The greys don't eat through their mouth.
Yeah, it doesn't move.
They eat through their pores. Whatever they eat has to be turned into a liquid, and they absorb it through their skin. All right, that's the way they eat. But what I wanted to bring up, what you mentioned, in an ant colony, they follow the queen. There's always a bunch of queens in the background waiting in case the queen does get killed. Yeah. If an ant colony loses their queens and has no queen, they will accept any queen from any tribe that comes to them. Now, that kind of sounds weird. Like, and I'm talking big red ants, black ants. They'll accept the queen.
I thought they would have killed the queen. They killed the queen because it has to be the right pheromones it's producing, surely.
Well, but see, I had ant colonies and I watched them for years at a time, and they won't give you a queen in the mail. They won't send you a queen. They'll send you ants, but they'll never send you the queen. You got to go out in the yard and dig a queen up or get a queen, and you put it in a colony. They'll adapt it. Ants live without a queen, but they do not have any actual foundation of what they're doing. I mean, I mixed ant colonies without a queen, and they just killed each other. All right, that's how I destroyed my colony. But when there's a queen there, they'll follow the queen. Now, the queen sends out the signal that they all understand and work with. I mean, it's the same with bees. The bees are very much the same way. So the ability to communicate is through a queen. Now, if you want to take the reptilians and everything, their higher power is a mantis. A mantis controls all the reptilians, all the Nordics, and including some races of the Greys. They're the highest being in our reality that has the power to control them. On any giant mother ship, there's always one queen, and that will be a mantis. I'm just using the word queen, but
I know, but you're quite right. I think you're right.
You always need a captain. No matter what you're driving, where you are, what school you're in, you always need somebody that's in power over the system.
Yeah, one directive.
And that's called control. All right. Now, and I just want to take it back real short, just for a second. In Atlantis, there was no powerful being controlling the races of people that were there. It was an incredible different reality. And that's why aliens did not like the society that was created and how to destroy it. But coming back to the present, they have pretty much control over everything that's happening. What they feed the government, what weapons they give us to use. Now, if you think they're giving us weapons to destroy them, you better think a little bit harder. So when they create a weapon, whether it was a laser gun, a taser gun, or any kind of technology that's different, it's only for us because their technology is thousands of years beyond us.
Mm.
So what weapons are they really using, and what do they really want to do with those weapons? Sadly, I mean, we watch Star Trek and Lost in Space and all these movies about why we travel to space and we want to be friends with other alien races. To do what? What are we creating?
Yeah.
What do we think we're going to create? If we can't create world peace on planet Earth, we can't create peace between even 5 countries, and we want to create this intergalactic communication with all these other races in space.
The other question I've got to throw up as well, like, was quite right with your line of thinking there. If the extraterrestrials or EBs or whatever you want to call them did create man, or like the ancient alien theories, without bashing another show, Tommy, then how come human life is finite and our animals are even less? I know tortoises and alligators live for a long time. Human beings live such a short, microscopic time for the time frame on Earth. Space travel, unless it was interdimensional, is completely and utterly useless. Now, I've experienced being put in a bubble, taken to another planet, or back in time, if you like, to where we either originated from. Now, if that's happened, then why can't we now, in this day and age, travel in finite travel, like in a bubble, and go there millions of years in the past, or millions of years in the future, or millions of years to another galaxy? Because we can't live that long here on our Earth. The only way we could possibly live to be millions of years or hundreds of thousands of years is do what they do. They don't choose to be in their bodies. They put souls in those bodies to travel. Now, we could do that if you think of like a higher consciousness or our souls, but biologically, for us to physically travel, they put us in bubbles. If we could come up with our own bubble, we wouldn't need them, and you could live thousands of years or millions of years in any time area you wanted.
Let me try to. I know you don't like to go into the idea of religion and spiritual truth as far as how it relates to those kind of things. But here's the foundation, and I'll tell you what I feel and know. There's an aura around a planet. There's a word for it in the Bible, and it's what gives people the life ability to live to 125. That's what it does. It limits people to 125 years, period. Science is trying to make us live longer. Nobody.
Tommy, what did you do to your? I can't hear you. You're very muffled. Did you click something?
No, I moved my phone away.
Oh, there you go. Now you're better.
My phone is kind of like really. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, I can now. Yeah.
He had the same issue yesterday. I don't know why.
A phone interferes with it incredibly, some strange reason. But because I just got a call from a telemarketing company. Government trying to monitor what I'm saying. But getting back to the fact that here's the thing, Tina. We talk about living forever. All right. If you choose to live in this body forever, you're never going to experience the greater things that God created. The body is so vain and programmed, twisted, and all those kind of words, which people don't want to deal with. And what they think about is limited to such a small reality. 99% of all men's reality revolves around sex, period. Nothing more, nothing less. And I mean, if they're in space, are they going to be having space dummies up there to have sex with? What are they planning on in the future for them in space? How many women are going to be up there? And imagine floating around in space having sex. It might be fun. But see, I don't want to go into that too detailed because it is kind of man's programmed thinking.
But human beings, again, aren't built for space travel. Biologically wise, we lose masses. Am I correct in saying it's a tissue, body tissue mass we lose?
But see, no, now if you listen to the UFO people talking about that, when we become fifth dimensional and sixth dimensional beings, we'll be able to travel through space. It won't affect us. So you can listen to all the ideas of living in the physical lowest dimension of God's worlds, which is planet Earth, the universe, the galaxy, the universe of our program, 3 levels of first, second, and third dimension. Fourth dimension is beyond the physical reality, going into the spirituality, which they do not understand. They say we'll become fourth dimensional beings. No, we will not. Not being here, we won't be the fourth dimensional being.
Hold on.
If you let go
Sorry,
of
I've got a question. I've got a question for you there. I've got to stop you there. So, and you, Sasha, because I know Tommy's more fanatical than you, but I want you both to answer this, right? So, if religion, and just say I want just not picking on anyone here, I'm just out my head. So, if Christianity, Judaism, and Catholicism believe in the Bible so much and in doctrine and in teachings, then can you tell me why they haven't invested all their hundreds of trillions of pounds over the years into research into the soul and what happens when we die? The Egyptians knew it because they talk about it. They have rituals for it. They created all these ceremonies for it. In this modern day, we've lost so much. We do not biologically, physically, mentally, and spiritually understand the soul, what happens to it, where it goes. Hold on.
Well,
No. You're going too far with too many questions.
Right, go for that. Go for that.
I'll let Sasha answer. Wait. Let me say something first. All right. When you talk about the Egyptians, you're talking about a race that followed aliens. They have no truth about soul. No truth about soul. So obviously they didn't go anywhere. They couldn't create the idea of even understanding reincarnation. All right. Embalming and all those things are useless. But I'll give it back to Sasha. I'll let you finish. Try to answer the question for her.
Well, as far as I understand, to answer your question, is the people who decided to be in charge of reality understood all this, but they do not want the majority of the population to know this, because they want to keep things in power and control, and they don't want people to keep leaving this dimension.
All right, let me go back to that, Tina. All right, see, the Bible and everything in history talks about demons. Demons are not aliens. Aliens are not demons. I mean, they could be bad for a word, but they're separated. Demons and entities like that don't have a solid body. You can't shoot them with a gun. You can't hit them with a laser beam and things like that. With aliens, you can. So when they affect the planet, they have their agenda. Everything has an agenda. Why Lucifer's allowed to be where he is an agenda. But until you experience any of that, people believe in angels. They don't believe in demons. People believe in God. They don't believe in Jesus. People believe in this. They don't believe in that. See, things fit together. When you experience them all, you'll understand how they all work together. When you experience one thing, you're missing the pieces that make the puzzle whole. When people talk about aliens and they don't know nothing about God or higher beings, there's no balance there. Because aliens don't know it, and they have not been, or they are not responsible for creating the human race and putting souls in it. You'll hear stories over and over.
Tommy, you're gone again. You're dumbing down again.
Yeah, your audio is muffled.
I got to complain to them.
There you go. You better nail forward. I can hear you better.
Is that any better now? Again?
That's a lot better now, yep.
That's amazing what's happening. I got, you know what it is? I can't close myself down. I got myself on AOL. See, I got all these messages popping up. And I'm going to have to go through like Firefox or Google directly instead of going through AOL. That's going to be my problem.
Oh, okay. I had already assumed that you're already using Firefox.
Well, I have it, but I don't use it for this site. I got all my links and everything in AOL. And I have to put up I got to send all my email out to my people, to Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, all that. All my sites are right there. So
see, alien technology would have helped you there. You just had to think it.
But I can go through this and still keep AOL open on the side or close it even. It doesn't matter. But as long as I'm not in it, and I'm in it right now. So sorry about that. Next time I'll rearrange the way I'm doing this. But getting back to the point, when we talk about all these things, if you don't experience it, you don't know it's real. I did ghost busting when I was 16 years old. I worked with the top psychic in the United States who proved she was an incredible channeler or medium at the time when what they called it. I worked with angels, I worked with ghosts, I worked with spirits, all those things, and proved it. So until you can accept them, can you really understand why aliens are here and the separation between both? Death is not what anything understands at any great level. Now, you type the 5 most spiritual people on the planet, you're going to get people that cannot talk about God. So right there is showing you the level of awareness of a God is not even there. The Egyptians, like I told you, were worshiping alien races that had no clue, telling them how to embalm a person so they can come back and use the body again. That wasn't real. I mean, I was there.
I mean, did they? I think they embalmed the body to stop people coming back. Surely.
No. Why they built pyramids is to put their body in it to come back into it. They put everything there in the pyramid for them to come back to.
I would have thought that Sasha's gone now.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, your picture's gone.
Yep.
I would have thought they built the pyramids to
communicate to other worlds.
Yeah, signaling.
Well, that's what they brainwashed you to believe.
Okay.
What's inside the pyramid? Oh, the pyramid can change things. Nothing. I was in a pyramid in Mexico. I went to the top. There was a statue of a kind of looked like it was a red statue of a dog in the top of the mirror, in top of the pyramid in Mexico. It had a jade eye, but you climbed all the way up to the top of this pyramid, and that's all that was in it. So you have to think, when they were creating pyramids, what were they really for? Don't forget, they had different agendas in their reality. But even to build a giant building for one person is pretty pathetic. And the buildings were big. Why would you build a room 25 feet high?
Hold on, and so I've got another question now, because every time you talk, my brain goes and you throw up another question to me. So on that basis then, so the Egyptians spent all this time, effort, money, and manpower to build these huge buildings, which we can't figure out today that are purpose or use. So they spent years doing it. So years doing it for one man, it's craziness. So then the government, any government, I believe the US was leading it, but I'm not sure. I know Russia looked at it and China too, is communications. Now, if they built huge pyramids for communications, then the US government spent lots of money on black projects with people, I'm not sure what the word is, you two might know it because it eludes me at the moment, when they people remote viewing, that's it. So when they put people on beds and let them sit in their little cages, because they had like was it copper cages or something, they laid them in these cages and they did remote viewing. Now, if they could, remote human being has brain capacity could remote view, and you could view a different planet or what was going on in space or different parts of the world, why would you need pyramids? And if the government knew this and invested so much money, they must know it's real. The aliens use it because they spoke to me using it, and other people can use it.
Well,
so
wait.
Do we not use our own ability enough?
See, here's the thing. If you chalk out spirituality and spiritual truths, you're dealing with humdrum, lame man's thinking. All right? They can't levitate a building. They can't levitate a penny. In Atlantis, they could. So they didn't have men. Imagine how many men took to build a pyramid with technology that we don't have. Then what were they feeding them? What did all those people eat? You have to realize we weren't in a place to do that or feed them. So the whole concept is a programmed idea created by alien races. When they told the Egyptians, well, do this and you can come back in that body. What body? You rip the skull out, you take the brain out, you break the jaw. Why would you make somebody immortal and come back to that body? What are you going to do? Glue the jaw back on and stick the brain in it?
That's what I said. Surely that it's not meant for people to come back.
Pathetic thinking. Anything aliens taught was nothing close to anything close to being spiritually aware of truth, meaning life beyond death.
Well, hold on then. Right, so hold on, because you're an experienced person in this. Sasha, stop yawning and you tell me what you think.
In regards to what again?
Either coming back from the dead, being mummified, and telepathy. Come on.
Well,
what's your take on it?
I personally haven't experienced that. I can tell you that. I don't know.
So he can't answer that. Let me go on.
Tommy, shut up. Let me say.
Are
That's
you
a good one.
are you regarding to the belief systems that the Egyptians had?
Well, no, right. So my point is, if the Egyptians spent all this time, effort, money, and manpower on building the pyramids to communicate, okay,
Okay. Okay.
to communicate with another planet, just supposing it was on an 84-day cycle, and they shot infrared beams into the sky. Now, infrared goes all the way across the universe. It doesn't need propulsion or anything. The beams just go. Okay, so they could send a message in that to say, "Hello, it's the right time. Come and harvest us. All human beings are here." Okay, so they did that, but then the governments in recent times, the last 50 to 80 years, have been doing remote viewing projects. They spent time, effort, and millions of pounds and dollars getting people to remote view distant planets, different parts of the different parts of the UK and America. What do you think the government should have spent the money on? There must be something in it for them to spend so much money on. And what do you think, as an outside person looking in, about all that?
Tina, you know, in the United States, Trump came out with the Space Army. All right, we created the Space Army in 1952. I mean, all right. So to assume that we created it now, spending money, they spend trillions of dollars a year on what? You should think about that. Why do they spend? To find out if the pyramid's real, if we could send a signal through it? No, it's only about weapons. The only thing they care about is a weapon. So say you build the pyramid and you can communicate to the universe. What are you going to tell them? What are you going to ask them? What do you want to come here and enjoy turkey dinner? Let's have Thanksgiving dinner here. What are you going to talk to other races for? See, when you got races that like eating humans, that don't even talk English or understand us in any way, why would you want to communicate with them?
They do. They have the ability to learn. When they spoke to me, I could understand him. I see the ones that spoke. The one that knows me, the one I get close to him, or when he's close to me, we link like through this grey mist. When there's a lot of them, it's like a grey mist, and I can understand what he's saying to me. He shows me pictures and images, but way too fast. It's like that, and the guy is so quick. But when he's talking to me, he will show me images, but I don't hear voices in my head. But I understand what he's communicating to me. It's like they don't show me.
Here's a quick question. What beneficial thing did he tell you?
No, so when I woke up and I was on this table and I couldn't move. When they were the time that we were in my chest, they were doing this operation thing in my chest. I was like at a 30-degree angle looking down my body, and all I could see was like light. And then as I couldn't move, and I'm not sure if they adjusted the table or I came round more. The one that knows me was to my right, and there was 3 little ones to my left, just down the side of my body, just like between my side of my boob down to like where my knee is. And didn't have any clothes on, and there was a light above me, and we seemed to be in a smaller room. Now, they physically stopped and looked at him because he'd obviously stopped communicating with them, because I couldn't see out my eyes, but I could see out my head. It's going to sound really crazy. When he was speaking to me, he started showing me images. Now, he showed me this like 3 dots with like a wave, it looked like a fish face. And he told me that it was their symbol for female, like female anatomy, or like female eggs. And then he showed me the symbol like a sperm, and he was trying to tell me that I understood that he was giving them like a science lesson, or they were harvesting my eggs, they were doing something. And he was amazed that I could understand what he was telling me. So he started showing me more very quickly, and I couldn't tell him it was too much because it was going too fast. Now, while this happened, I just stopped seeing, started looking at my eyes, and the little ones were looking up at him. He was then physically looking at me. Now, the little ones obviously stopped hearing what he said, so he could control the thought pattern. So the little ones couldn't communicate directly to me. I'm not sure if they were allowed or couldn't do it. He was controlling him. It was just me and him in the link that he chose to speak to me separately. So he chose to show me their science and different images. The other information he was relaying was too quick. I couldn't understand it, Tommy. I couldn't understand it. It was just going too quick. Now, they choose to turn it on and off. The little ones are very angry with him that he was talking to me. But when they can communicate directly. And I think they use the vocabulary in their head if you don't understand the pictures. So they use your understanding and your vocabulary to explain things to you, if that makes sense.
No, no, I know you brought that up already, and that's great because they're actually telling you what's happening, what they're doing, and all that. But here's the problem. All right, they're doing their agenda.
Yeah.
Whether you volunteered for it or not, it
No,
wasn't like you want to be part of our agenda. No, we're going to use you anyway. We want your ovaries. We want your children. We want to do. But you can talk to them. We don't know why you can talk to them, but you are. So yeah, that amazes them. See, even that alone puts them in a space. Why didn't they know that? Why didn't they
they
know?
were freaked out. When the other time, I haven't seen them that bad. The worst time was when I touched the pod. Do you remember I said about the pods? When I put my hand on the pod, the glass pod that had the babies in, they were all behind me, and I knew it was a test. They knew it wasn't. The second I put my hand physically, put the palm of my hand on this pod, on the top of the pod, it was cold, and I couldn't hear nothing. And then one of them said, "Oh, he was controlling. I could feel him all pushing, trying to get into my link in my head. They're pushing against it." And he's like, it was like a two-way conversation. He was saying, "No, she's just curious that it's cold," and he explained to me that the babies weren't cold inside the thing. But the second I touched it, I could hear all female voices. They were just, I looked through them all in a second. There must have been hundreds there, but for some reason I could search all these little voices in like a second, and I knew they were all female. And then when I said to myself they're all female, they freaked big time. They couldn't break the psychic link or what have you to all the girls, and all the girls I could hear them. They had individual voices, but they were together as a collective, and I could understand them. And they were chattering, and the second they knew I was in the link, they kind of stopped. The others freaked out because they all rushed in my head, and the link between me and the one that knew me kind of either expanded or dissolved, and they all rushed in my head. It was just too much. I stopped seeing out of my eyes, and they were physically, I could feel them like crawling in my head, turning everything over because they freaked. And I could feel they felt threatened and very fearful, and turning everything over so fast in my head, because they couldn't understand how I knew that they were all female. Not everybody in the group knew that they were all female. So they didn't know how I knew the information and how I spoke to them all. They didn't know that I could connect to them. I didn't know how I did it. I just touched the pod. So unless the pods were connected, but they all physically linked with me at one go, and they didn't know how I did that. That's when I realised in that split second they were all clones of me. They were all girls. And they were very fearful of that. They were scared to death.
So, when was the last time you had actual communication with those children?
That was the last time.
I said, when was it?
Oh God. God, I want to say 5 or 6 years. Gotta be.
All right. The reason why I had a friend who lost 2 children in 2 years. They took the children away from them.
Yeah.
She was allowed to see them the 3rd year. They told her she's only going to see them one time, and she was allowed to see them, and then she never was taken back to see them again. So I'm just wondering what they're going to allow you to do in the future. If you can communicate with them, maybe they can use you in a better way to work with them.
Well, so what I also realised is I was never going to see those children again, because the ones in the pod, that time when I realised, when it hits you like a lightning, that's when I freaked. When they pulled me back to bed, they obviously wanted to get on with what was next. But the one that was guarding him, there was just one, wasn't like them. He was a slightly different shade, and I could tell he perceived me as a direct threat to these pods. He did not want me there. But when I was back on the bed, they brought one over, so I'm not sure if they hatched one or took her out, or they already grown her. She looked to be about 6 months of age, 6-month-old baby. She looked very, very pink. And I freaked when they held her up at the end of the bed. This one that was sort of perceived me as a threat didn't want to come over. And the one that knew me was again to my right. He said I'd be allowed to sit up. I was back on this bench, and I had this rag thing in front of me. It wasn't like human clothes, it was like a rag. And when they brought this baby thing over at the end of the bed, this little one stood there and held it up underneath the arms, and it had like a blanket on it. When it pulled the blanket back to hold it up in front of me, it was me. It was a clone of me, and I got a picture of a baby of me, like 6, 8 months old, and it was exactly the same as like someone holding up a bit. It was me. This girl was pink, and her hair wasn't quite white. She had really thick hair, and her face and everything. When she looked at me, she had my eyes, but then I realised what they'd done. It was when she linked to me, it was them inside. It wasn't me. She had all my memories up to like 2 years before, from 6 months to 2 years before, and but it had stopped. So there was a discrepancy. Like all my memories, like the last 14 years, say, was up to that point, and then it was missing the last 2 years' memories. And but imagine a baby being born with that much capacity. But when I realised what they'd done and I'd freaked, she freaked instantly, and they ran away and they yanked me back on the bed. And when they brought her back, I'm like, what's going on? They said, you frightened the baby. She picked up on your pheromone. And I said, well, why? I didn't feel any maternal instinct at that point. Looking at her in the bed, I just freaked because I knew it was me. I knew what they'd done. But when they brought her next to me, the one didn't want to be near me. He held the baby up like this time, but a bit closer, like he pulled his face away from me. And she looked at me, and as I looked at her, she linked directly to me, and she created her own link. Everyone else was cut out. It was just me and her. And she didn't say anything, and I looked at her, and she kind of blinked, and I said, what have you done? And she said, I've taken a picture. And I said, why have you taken a picture? She said, do you want to see it? And I'm like, yeah. I look terrible. I look like red in the face. I look like my hair. I look like I've been dragged through a bush backward. I had this horrible rag, and I look really dishevelled. I'm like, can't you take a better picture? She's like, and I said, why have you done it? And it had all my hormone levels. And this picture I could tell it had my hormone levels, how I felt at the time of the picture was taken, everything. And she said, it's to show the others when they come out of the chambers they were in, all the eggs. She said, so they all know, everyone in the link, the generations, they share a generation. So if there's 100 babies there, everyone will have a part of that link in them, like we do, like blood. I've got a part of my grandmother and my great grandmother. They have all my relatives in them, but they will share. They all have that one memory of me, and that was it. And she said she wanted the memory to share with others of me and me, like as their mother, but where they came from. And that was it. They put a cover on her, and they took her off. And then I was kicking off big time. I became really distressed, and then that's when it all went bright white light, and they put me in a smaller room, and then they showed me other things to distract me. Anyway, later on, another time they took me was when they took me to that big ship that looked like a huge submarine in space, like this giant torpedo thing in space. It was huge, absolutely massive. None, they couldn't build anything that big, and it was by Jupiter. This bottom bit here by Jupiter. And when we got there on the ship, in this panel in the wall, when that opened up when I was on there, there were hundreds of little trays in the wall that came out, and like size of about 50p pieces, probably about that big. And it has like a white lens, but in there was like a tiny blob. And I said, what's that? And I couldn't link to it or anything. And they said, that's babies. They're my children. They're babies. They're clones of me. And all these drawers were filled up with just me. Just all these ones here. Each drawer had like 50 to 100 of these little things on them in one drawer, and there was light in the drawer. So when they pulled the drawer open, it was like everything was black. But when they pulled the drawer open, this white light that stunned you is in the drawer, and it's keeping these babies frozen. And then when they get to a destination, they like hatch them or grow them, but they wouldn't share the same memory as the one that knew, the one that took the picture of the girl. So all those embryos.
You're getting feedback right now.
Is it you?
We all are.
Right.
That's kind of weird.
So I knew I was not going to see these babies again, but they took me to the planet where they were going to release the eggs. So they showed me, because I wanted to know where they were going. That's better, whatever happened there. So they showed me where the babies were going to grow up, and I knew I was never going to see them again. When I asked what was going to happen to the girl they took out, the little baby out the chamber, they never answered me. They never told me, and I knew I was never going to see the rest of them again. I knew it was a once in a lifetime thing, that I was never going to see those babies again.
Well, that's quite interesting. I'm glad you got into that. For the people out there, that's Tina. I'm Tommy Hawksblood. Do you want to go further, or do you need to leave?
No, 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 I'm fine. You can carry on.
All right. So we're going to look at on our show. We look at the truth from every aspect that we can. We will take questions, like we keep saying that. If you want to bring some kind of truth into this picture, please do. I can only base it on my truth. Tina can only base it on her truth. Sasha bases it on his truth. We all have multiple experiences, but they're all different. So you're going to get aspects of each aspect of that truth from us the best we can. I know there's people out there saying things like Corey Good talked about how he works with this blue race, and they put these images in front of him. They show him the past, present, and future. They did at least one time. And he's saying the world's going to be destroyed soon. So we got a lot of people telling us things and stuff. And I say, proof is all that matters. Now, Tina has so much proof along her time dealing with this, and it's hard for her to get it out because the government's not even letting her have it. So, truth is out there, whether they ever let us see it, experience it. It's up to us to get it and find it. You want to find out about aliens, try to, I wouldn't say try to, they'll come after you if that you open yourself up enough to them. Or if
Yeah.
you're totally unaware, they'll come after you as well. I'm protected, so I can't say I can travel on ships with aliens. They can't take me when I don't want to go. So the only way I can deal with them is if they physically come down here and stand in front of me and communicate with me. So outside of that, my connection to being abducted and all that's not possible. And I'm going on by my own direct experience with that. But Tina has this connection with this race, and I say they do need her for some reasons. And they're still trying to work out those reasons why. They implanted her. They did a lot of things to keep
Yeah.
her attracted, being able to follow her around and everything else. But the bottom line is their agenda is not our agenda. We're in serious trouble right now, and we need to work it out. The virus that's coming, does somebody want to come and help us stop it or things like that? They're the things we should be worried about. I mean, the chemtrails, the HARP system, it's all about weapons, and I keep bringing that up. It's not about love, it's not about compassion, and it's not about God. So take those out of the picture. What are you dealing with? Game time in the Matrix, and that's all it is. We
Would
can
it be useful if the government did have a mind program where you could call mentally UFOs, like a whining child crying out for its parent constantly? Because there are people that can do that, and I think the grades, how you like it, say it look upon children or people that can do that as like whiny children. But if you did it for like a couple of days, they'd show up because they are linked to you in certain ways. And they can't break that link once I think you're linked to them, or you have the ability to do it. Surely, then, if people have the ability to do that and call them here, or call them out of the atmosphere here, the government could then capture them. Surely, that's an advantage to the human
Well,
race.
something that I would suggest to you, not everybody, is 2 books. He wrote maybe 4 books already.
Your audio is muffled again.
Oh man, I don't know
There
what's
you
going
go.
on. Next
That's
time
better.
we'll change this next time. But here's the thing. There's a person. His name's Peter Moon. He wrote 4 books on a topic about pyramids. He goes to Transylvania, Tasmania, whatever, and he's dealing with a person that's been going inside the pyramids. They found a technology to translate what races people come from inside the pyramid. They also found a supposedly tunnels that go one to Monaco, to Long Island. One goes to Mount one of the mountains, the highest mountains in Tibet. And these tunnels, who knows what they use them for? But the whole idea of why the pyramids were existing, this one person is writing these books with Peter Moon, and he goes out there twice a year to get more information from him. It might be helpful for you to understand pyramids and to follow that if that's what your interests are. For me, I look at reality, I look what's going to happen to the planet, and I look at what's happened to the word spirituality. Deteriorating, the same as morals are deteriorating. What is man going to do? Travel through space, talk to aliens for what reason? If they can't help you, and on planet Earth, if whatever you do, if you don't get paid for it, you really don't want to do it. If it's not going to benefit your pocket, you're not going to give it away. So the idea, well, alien races are going to come down and give us gold for our food. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to just take it. So every aspect of it is, I don't see the plus factor. They're going to teach us what? How to love each other?
Surely, Tommy, the government knows what they're coming here for. If the government have built
No, they don't. They don't know why aliens are coming here.
So why did they created Star Wars? I read a book called The Day After Roswell, but with Colonel Corso.
Okay, right, yeah.
So, and they talked about the Star Wars program. They had to find a way for the governments to ally themselves together and a way to fight the UFOs to stop them coming here for different reasons.
See,
and they must know. Eisenhower apparently had a meeting with them. They must know what they're coming here for and decide.
Well, you're talking about one race, Tina. The only race, I was friends with Bob Dean. He said they were working 37 races. Putin himself said they're working with 37 races. Putin himself said 2 of the races want to destroy the planet. So take that out of all the things that have been coming out of that. 2 races want to destroy the planet. All right, how are they going to do it, and why do they want to do it? But again, when a government works with an alien race, all they want from them is technology. They don't want to know what they really want to eat and do they like sex or anything like that. They just want to know, give us technology, we'll let you abduct as many people as you want. That's the bottom line of all the deals the United States made with the Greys. The reptilians do what they want, and we do have battles with them. We had 2 major battles that I know of in space. I saw one separate from that, which wasn't really publicized, in Hawaii. So why we know, but we're only talking about two or three races that the government are dealing with. The Mantis don't deal with the United States. They worked with Evie for how many years? And he was the head of the Greys here on this planet until they had to kill him. So there's a lot of things that we want to accept, we want to believe. We want to believe humans have knowledge. We have knowledge for what? Not to move forward spiritually, move forward physically. And until that becomes one, we're never going to move successfully in a way that's going to benefit all soul on this planet. Let's see, we want to give credit to people that are rapists, murderers, and everything else, and give them equal rights and justify. No, it's not like that. Soul's not going to get out of here. Again, unless you understand demons and entities like that, you're not going to understand anything higher than that. I mean, I was working with spirits and all that when I was young. So when you get an awareness of things outside of a creature in a ship, big deal. I saw a ship on my property when I was 12 years old. So, and my friend and me, we grabbed baseball bats. We were ready to beat it up with a bat if we could. So,
right, Tommy, sorry, I've got to go. I've got to leave you guys. Sorry to cut you off like that. It has been great, and I always look forward to our chat.
The 2 books, like I said, Tequila Sunrise and Tequila Moonrise by Peter Moon. You'll find that interesting because he's totally into the pyramid thing. All right, Tina, it was a pleasure. Till next time, till next week.
Yeah, same here. Good seeing you, Tina.
And you, Sasha. And guys, thank you for putting up with me tonight. It's been great talking to you. Tommy, you should let him talk more, but yeah, it's been great. Thank you very much for the evening.
He'll say something if he has something he needs to say.
Yeah, I know.
And he'll say it right now after we let you leave. All right.
Very lovely.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Here at Hive in the UK, that's human individuals visited by extraterrestrial. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and all the other stations. And if you want to private message me, I'm Tina Bird on Facebook, or you can contact me on the Hive Initiative or Hive, or come this week or next week on Tommy's show here on StreamYard. Sasha, goodbye. Goodbye, Tommy, and goodbye here from the UK. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Tina.
Bye-bye. See you next week. Bye.
All right. That was Tina really getting closer to her, understanding everything that she's going through. Sasha, do you understand where Tina is in her world, how she's dealing with this? It's complicated what she has to go through. We didn't get into everything that's going on in her life, but she's being pretty much run in a lot of ways by these aliens that do take her. So I just want you to know that I believe what she says. Not every UFO person out there speaking, I even accept half of what they say. But I accept her. I listen to her story. I listen to her, what she's going through, the proof that she has, the proof that she could have if the government would release it. So there's a lot of things that why I want to do a show with her. But I mean, you want to say anything particular that you feel?
Well, I mean, I certainly do believe her. Now, in terms of you asking me, do I understand what she's going through? No, no.
She has it hard because she's been sick lately.
Yeah.
And she mentioned she's losing her nails, her teeth, her hair, and they're all signs of radiation. And I told her, so in a couple of weeks, she's going to actually get the results of how toxic in radiation she is.
Yeah.
She already found out her dog has radiation poisoning at some level. So, and if she's truly radioactive, I would assume that this alien race, the Greys, are trying to keep her alive. Radiation poisoning, you don't live long. And if the symptoms that she has, is having, is really detrimental to your life. So I give her respect in a lot of ways just dealing with that. I mean, she looks good. She looks happy. She's doing what she can. And I support her 100%. So, yeah, nobody's
I certainly believe her. And I mean, I also believe that there are other entities other than us here as well. So yeah, of course.
But the Greys are one race, which find races that work with people find something. It's like if you're going to go to a club every night, you're going to find people that you can relate to. You're going to go out on a fishing trip, you're going to bring people you want to relate to. You pull people in that you can relate to at some level, and these Greys can relate to her at different levels, which they didn't even know that they had. So yeah, I think what I'm going to try to say is I really think they're going to protect her as long as they can. If they see the effects that they're having on her, they're going to try to protect her from that. I know for a fact, years ago, my friend and I were dealing with a person who was in Majestic 12. And he told us we were supposed to get it, honey, that can cure any disease on this planet.
Tea tree honey?
What kind of honey?
Tea tree?
No, real honey. But it was created by aliens. And that's what the whole, if you watch the movie, I guess it was the movie, not the TV series of the Truth Out There. Yeah, but
I'm assuming this is the kind of species of honey that you can't find on the shelves anywhere.
Well, it's what they made to cure disease.
Right, but I'm like, is there any species of honey on this planet that comes even close to what you're talking about?
No, not at all. Nothing at all.
Okay,
basically, so if you watch the movie, X-Files, the movie, the first movie of X-Files that came out, it shows you them going in the beehive in the colony that the government was making.
Yep.
And then she gets bit by it, and then she gets into this horrible state and everything else. See, there's a lot to it. But people need to know that the X-Files was always based on actual facts. I mean, how provable? They went to the police department and they took out files. I mean, when self-explosion and all those words came out, the first Bigfoot and all those things.
Even that actor, David Duchovny, in the mid to late 80s, admitted publicly that he witnessed a UFO.
It's funny. He witnessed one, but it was her that really believed more in the UFO things and aliens than he does.
Oh, okay.
They were playing reverse roles of what they really were.
Yeah, okay.
Right? I mean, a person that I debated twice and they kind of walked away, Bud Hopkins. Half of his life he was writing books about abduction. He was never abducted, never saw an alien, never was close to a ship. So anything he wrote about was what people said to him. So to me, that's secondhand information. All right. And I challenged him to his face, and he would walk away. And I said, you're saying this, but where's your proof of it, that being real? If you don't experience something, you can't say it's real. And that's why when people say, well, Well, Roswell happened, and this person said that because he said it makes it real. But you know, in the past, how many years since Roswell? 47. All right. How many people came out with stories, and they're all different? I mean, truth doesn't change. Sure, the way you look at it could be a little different, but the idea of what the reasoning behind it, nobody came out with the truth. Who had the truth to tell it? So we have to realize when the Hill family came out, they were attacked at every level. First off, it was a black person and a white person married, which wasn't pretty much accepted in that time frame. Then they come out and say you've been abducted on an alien ship. It kind of puts you in like totally way out there in La La Land. So they couldn't get their message out in any great way. Then we come to the people that were involved around that, people that
Well,
supposedly.
see, you can forget about telling people about the reality of aliens. It's already hard enough to convince people of the dangers of cell phones and radiation and 5G and everything else, and that's the lowest of the levels of truth. And people
See,
are having a hard time with that. Never mind
well,
UFOs.
it'll change soon. Uh, and I truly believe they're going to make their ground landing real soon. Uh, and they're going to take full power over the planet because we are destroying everything.
Are
I mean,
you Do you suspect a certain location? I want to have my chair ready and popcorn.
no, I think it'll be more like the day the Earth stood still.
Oh, so pretty much hide. Okay.
Hi, what?
Hide.
Yeah, they'll land. Have a ship over every country, and say, "Look, we are here. We're not going to let you destroy what we have. You either follow our rules, or we're going to terminate you." It'll be that
Well,
simple.
in a way, I'll be on their side because they're actually trying to save the world.
Well, if that, well, I'm hoping that
If,
would be the
if,
way it
if,
goes down, and I
if.
believe if an alien race is good, that's the way it's going to go down.
Yeah.
But if you watch the movie V, which I think is the second way it could go down, same thing. They covered the planet with ships, brainwashed it to believe that they were here to help us in their own mission, which kind of Tina's actually saying they're creating their hive.
Or
All
like
right.
one of the
Did you
Stargate
see? Did you see the
episodes.
movie V, the series?
Yeah, it didn't last too long.
It was on for 6 months, but
Yeah.
basically, it didn't need to go any further. It showed that they came here, and she was creating a hive. She had all her eggs, and then they had to destroy it. So basically, whether we're smart enough to get to the second level of stopping it from happening is a different story. I mean, if they offer the president gold bricks, more money, well, who knows what he would do? So when everything's based on money, soul and people and life is secondary. And I mean, China doesn't care about life. So this whole virus thing is going to be a simple exposure of how they do care or don't care about life. Realize that was brought into China 2 years ago. There is a cure for it already, but who's going to release it? And when are they going to release it? Are they going to release it? I guarantee if it got into the underground cities, they'd have the cure down there right now. So there's multiple things happening, and mankind's not ready to let go of its little programmed idea. Well, the football game's on tomorrow, or I'm going to have sex tonight. I mean, outside of that, the average man, oh, I got to work today. Oh man, I got to get high at lunchtime. Whatever. However, they survive. But with that, I hope you enjoyed the show today. Uh, Tommy Hawksblood here. My link's down on the bottom. You want my first two books? Send me a link, and I will send you the first two books as an ebook for free. But my newest book is the cover you'll see on the site. All right, with that, everybody, thank you. It was a pleasure. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Thanks, Tommy.
All right, peace, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Hello? I just ended it. We need milk, both kinds. A cheap dessert if there's any. Anything else? No. You can get me some bananas. Oh, I need bananas. The one I have is toxic. I'm going to eat it now, but I don't know whether it was just the milk or the banana. All right. You okay? Hello? This is the last time? Did you tell him about your shoulder?